Hi guys, today we're going to talk about coordinate graphing, and that's basically plotting points in all four quadrants, and we'll talk about what that means. But it should look very familiar to you because quadrants are the same thing we do all the time in class. So the I can statement we're working on is I can locate the graph, locate and graph points on a coordinate plane. So let's begin with thinking of the horizontal number line that we have been used to dealing with. And this is called the x-axis. It's the horizontal number line. 0 would represent the present or today or a starting point. And anything going to the right would represent the future or those positive increasing values, and anything going to the left would be those negative values. We're used to seeing this. But now we're going to look at a different axis. And this one goes vertically, and this might look kind of familiar. We did see something that looks familiar to this in the very first what's your sign problem that we worked on, and that was when we were looking at the thermometer that goes up and down. 0 could be 0 degrees, or in many cases, sea level. Okay, we've talked about that already in this unit, how anything above sea level would be positive, anything below sea level would be negative. And so when we talk about coordinate graphing, we actually put those two together. We combine those two number lines, the horizontal one and the vertical one, and that creates a coordinate plane. And each part of the coordinate plane, each of these little sections here, represent a different quadrant. And this should, again, look very familiar to you. Quadrant 1. And this is why the quadrants that we go through look a little cattywampus, because you're kind of like, well, why are we going backwards and around? Okay, it's because that's how we do it in math. So that's why we've practiced it. That's how it's done in math. So quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Okay. And so that would make up what we would call a coordinate plane. Now, another way people like to remember this, coordinate plane begins with a C. If you make a C on the coordinate plane, you go through quadrant 1 first, then the second, then the third, and then the fourth quadrant. So just another way to remember, where do we start, where do we end, how do we go about describing which quadrant we're looking at. So the location of any point is designated by two coordinates, which is called an ordered pair. And it's an ordered pair because the order that we put these numbers in the pair matters, okay? We always write our ordered pairs, so this would be 2, 1. We always write it with parentheses. You must have parentheses around your coordinates. The first number, this 2, here represents the value on the x. So I start at 0. 2 would be the x value on the x-axis. And the second one is always the y. So this would be 1. So I went over 2. If I were to go up 1 and to see where they meet, that would be where I'd plot my point 2, 1. I like to think of it this way. If you walk into a very tall building, so imagine you're going into one of the skyscrapers downtown, okay? You walk in right here at the lobby, okay? You're going to go to the in the lobby, there's lots of elevators, and all those elevators are here on the x-axis, all on ground level. So you're going to go over to the number 2 elevator. That's the first number. And you're going to take it to the first floor. That's the second number. Okay. So here's another example. If I were to walk into the lobby and this ordered pair, tells me to go to the 4th elevator and take it to the 3rd floor, okay? X, then Y. Okay, here we go again. I'm told to go to the 1st elevator and take it to the 4th floor. 1, 4 would be that ordered pair. So let's look at these, and in the summary section of your WSQ, notice what happens, what's same or different, what do all of these ordered pairs have in common? Well, you'll notice that all the X and Y values are positive. So if I have an ordered pair with all positive coordinates, I know it's going to go in quadrant 1. And you're going to want to make a note of that in your summary. Look at quadrant 2 now. Here again, if I come in at the lobby, I go to the -2 elevator and take it to the first floor. -2, +1. Here I would go to the -3 elevator and take that to the second floor. -1 elevator, take it to the third floor. What do all of these ordered pairs have in common? Take a minute and jot that down in the summary section of your WSQ. You might have noticed that all the X values, all the first values we have, are negative, while all the Y values are positive. Let's look at some ordered pairs in quadrant 3. Now to get to this point, again, I come in at the lobby, go to the -3 elevator, ride it down to the -2 floor. So here I might be going into the parking garage or the basement, lower levels that are below where I enter at the lobby. Maybe the building's built on a hill, and so you can get into different parts underneath where the lobby is. But anyway, either way, the first number tells us where do we go, left or right. The second number tells us up or down. So what do all coordinates or all ordered pairs in quadrant 3 have in common? Take a second and jot that down in your summary. Okay, you might have noticed that all of the X values and Y values, both of them, are going to be negative. And that's how we would indicate ordered pairs that go in quadrant 3. And you might have guessed it, quadrant 4 comes next. Look at the coordinate plane and take a second and just think about, what do you think is going to be true for all of the ordered pairs that are going to be in quadrant 4? You have an idea? All right, let's take a look. So here we have quadrant 4 points, ordered pairs. Were you right? What did you notice? Did you notice that all of the X values were going to be positive and all of the Y values were going to be negative? If so, great job. Jot that down in your summary section of your WSQ. Okay, so we talked about an ordered pair. So when you come in at the lobby, that is what we would call the origin. Doesn't change from when we were dealing with graphing in quadrant 1. And that would be the point 0, 0. Okay, that's always going to be your starting point. You're always going to want to put your pencil on the origin and then go left or right, then up and down based on what your ordered pair is. So if I wanted to graph -3, 2, I would start at 0, 0. I would move 3 units to the left and then move 2 units up. And every time I plot a point, I have to label it. Okay? Let's try another one. -4, -3. I'm going to go to 4 units to the left, because that would be -4. I go to the -4 elevator and take it to the -3 floor and write my ordered pair. Okay, you have to do that. Okay, again, if I wanted to plot 3, -1, I would come in at the lobby, come in at the origin, and I would move to the right 3, go to the number 3 elevator, and I'm going to take it down to the -1 floor and write my ordered pair. You've got to label your points when we're graphing. Okay? Now, what if I wanted to graph 0, 3? Well, I come in at the lobby, I start at the origin again, but I'm going to take the 0 elevator and take it to the 3rd floor. So I would only need to move my pencil up 3 places, put my point, and label it. Now, what about -2, 1? Start at the origin again. Go to the -2 elevator and realize, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm on the right floor, so I would not go up or down. All right, so let's take a minute, pause the video, name the quadrant where each of these points is located. Okay, let's see how you did. A is in quadrant 4, so point X here in quadrant 4. Point Y is located in quadrant 3, and point S is located in quadrant 2. Remember, we've got quadrant 1, whoopsie, 2, 3, and 4. And in class, don't forget, we've got all those little cheat sheets all around the room from our quadrant work. All right? Try this one. Name the quadrant where each of these points are located. Pause the video and press play when you're done. Let's see how you did. All right, let's see how you did. V is in quadrant 1. Z is on the y-axis. So technically, this one's not in a quadrant. Any points that are plotted on an axis cannot be named in a specific quadrant. They can only be named on the axis in which they are in. So Z was a little bit of a trick question. Z was on the y-axis, so it is not in any quadrant. T would be in quadrant 4. Okay. All right. So let's take a minute. Give a coordinate for X. What would be the ordered pair for X? Okay, how'd you do? Well, from the origin, X is 4 units to the right and 1 unit down. I'm going to take the number 4 elevator to the -1 floor. So my ordered pair would be 4, -1. Try Y. So from the origin, I would take 2 units to the left and 3 units down. So my ordered pair would be -2, -3. Let's do a little practice with quadrants. In which quadrant would you find the point -3, 4? Well, you can go back and look at your notes, or you can go ahead and imagine in your mind where it would go. So -3 is going to go from the origin. I know I'm going to go to the left and up, which would put it in quadrant 2. Number 2. In which quadrant would you find the point 2, -4? So think, from the origin, I'm going in the positive direction, and then I'm going to go down, which would put 2, -4 in quadrant 4. On which axis would you find the point 3, 0? Well, from the origin, I go to the think. I'm going left or right first, and I'm not going up or down. So I would find this point on the x-axis. On which axis would you find 0, -2? Again, here I am at the origin. I'm not going left or right at all. I'm going down 2, which means that my point would end up being on the y-axis. Okay? If you started at the origin 0, 0, describe how you would get to point 2, 3. Well, to do that, I would have to go to the number 2 elevator and then up to the 3rd floor. And there's my point. Okay, so now it's your turn. Pause the video, try numbers 1 through 8, and press play. Let's see how you did. Okay, let's check your work. Here are your answers for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, we are done with this video. You can go back and watch any part you need, you'd like, as many times as you need, and or the whole video. Don't forget to WSQ in your notes, and I can't wait to have a conversation with you.